to make the best. Be it you are using technology for individual life, or you are using it to scale up your business prospects. We all must agree that technology is definitely very, very powerful. And as we have today's discussion, that it's not for, should I use the word, everybody out there, but definitely tailored for those who knows the power of JavaScript programming language. So my name once again is Emmanuel Akimbo, and then I have with me today that will be anchoring the program. He is a lead instructor at this Spring Business and Technology Limited. He has worked with so many great organizations, which I believe is going to give more accurate introduction about himself. And he has accomplished so many projects when it comes to programming, coding, and lots more. So to reduce our time and to make today's discussion a worthwhile, I'm going to welcome Mr. Adekunle Opeyemi David, the ICT Director at the Spring Business School and Technology Limited. You are welcome, sir, Mr. Adekunle. Mr. David, if you are here, kindly please signify. I heard you told me earlier you're having some network challenges out there. So we really hope you can unravel that as fast as you can. So while we wait for Mr. Adekunle to join us again, we all know that the world is actually very, very competitive. And as we have so many individuals and organizations, okay, Mr. Adekunle, you're welcome, sir. I'm anchoring the discussion, the segment to you now. Please proceed. Everybody, let's once again join Mr. Adekunle David as he takes the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you. Thank you. So today, we are going into business directly because we don't have much time on our side. And for every one of us in this meeting, I believe we've scaled up our web development course or lesson or skills. Anyone that fits in your own language. So, but today we are going to be discussing the basic structure, the basic fundamental of JavaScript, and we're going to be seeing it live in code. And as we are doing it directly, if you are there with your PC, it's very simple. So just follow us. JavaScript is already running on your browser. There is no need of installing it. So all what you just need is, a Sublime Text, or any text editor rather. So, but just let it be the one that the programmer or developers, are using, like Sublime Text, code, Visual Code, Visual Plus Plus, and so on and so forth. So you can just go ahead and use any of your the text editor that you're familiar with. But here I'm having my own. I think, please, can you see my screen? Please, if you can see my screen, I just want you to you can ping through box message, but I believe that everybody can see, my screen over from that side. So we're going to start, by describing what JavaScript is really all about and how do we use it, in our web development, skills or career. Let me use that word. So then, and what are the things that you need to know before you can write JavaScript? So we're going to start. The first thing that you need to know, about JavaScript is that, number one, you must first of all understand the basic structure of HTML. Secondly, CSS. I've learned, the HTML and CSS, then you are good for this course. You are good to start with this basic JavaScript. So what we're going to be doing today is that, first of all, we want to see
Can't see your screen, sir. Sorry for the obstruction. I'm so sorry for that. We can't really see the screen you said you are sharing.
Or what is the function of JavaScript? Please, can you see? Hello? Please, can you see my screen? Hello? Please, I just want a response.
We can't see your screen, sir. We cannot see your screen. Kindly please work on it. Share screen again.
Okay. Please let me just share my screen so that. Right.
All right, we can see it now, sir.
Yes, thank you very much. So now, let's quickly proceed, with what we are discussing the other time. Now you can see on your screen very well. So now, what actually do we use JavaScript for? We use JavaScript to control the flow of a website. What do I mean by the flow of a website? That is, the actions that are supposed to take place, some things that, need to, some things, that need to call for an action. For example, if you click on a particular button, you will see, something different. Maybe you click on a particular image and you see that the image, bring another side, or bring another side to you, or maybe display some text. And sometimes if you click on some images, you can see those images, they animate, they dance, sometimes they jump up. Now these are the things that we use JavaScript for. Most importantly, you can even use it for what we call sliders in your website. For as many that have been aspiring to build a very beautiful slider on your website, so JavaScript is also good for that. But let's just start from the scratch, because I believe that some of us in this class, we already have the primary knowledge of HTML and CSS. But this time around, even if you don't know CSS, at least you are familiar with HTML. So let's start it. The first thing that I want to talk about JavaScript, like any other programming language, is that how we can print a message, on our screen, to our browser. So how we can pass a message to our browser, just as we use HTML to pass message to our browser. So how we can do it. Then secondly, so how are we going to write it, and where are we going to put it in our code? Now I want you to note something, that for some of us that is coming from the background of CSS. You know that we have internal CSS and external CSS. The same thing with JavaScript. You can have external file for JavaScript, and also you can still also have internal file, for your JavaScript. So, but we will start, with the internal, use of JavaScript. So, the first thing that we want to learn today is that, and please, where can we place our JavaScript? Our JavaScript inside our HTML code can be placed anywhere. You can place it within your head of your element. I believe that you know what I'm saying. And then you can also place it, in the body of your element. Now, listen. When you are placing a JavaScript on the head of your HTML, so you need to note that it has to be an external file. But if you are writing it, directly inside the body tag of your HTML, so it needs to be placed, wrapped inside a tag called script. And I think you can see it directly from my screen. You can see this is HTML, and you can see the body open and the body closed. Then, and you can see I open a tag and I call it a script. And look at it again, a script. Open a tag, just call it a script. Just write script as you are seeing it directly here. Then you can see that it has a file type it has a type attribute. For as many of you coming from HTML, I know you understand what I'm saying very well, because you can't learn this course without the previous knowledge of HTML and CSS. It's impossible. So the course is for people that already have the basic, knowledge of HTML and CSS, that want to advance and move, that want to advance in their web development career. So please, let's continue. Now, you can see that it has an attribute of type. And the attribute of type, you can see it has the value of text. And the text that we are writing is JavaScript. Very simple. Now, let me cut out this so that you can see clearly what I'm saying. So let me cut out this. Now, I believe you can see that I've cut it out. So you can see where I place, the script tag within my body element, within the body element of the HTML. Then you can see how I write the tag, and you can see immediately close the tag. So now, what we now want to do is that we want to pass a message. We have two ways rather, of passing a message, in JavaScript. The number one, we use document.write function. Secondly, we use alert function. And thirdly, we use console function. But this time around, we are going to stick with two major ways that we can use to pass message, to our browser. Now, you can write with me if you are already with your system and you are already with your materials and you are up to it, and just follow what I'm doing. You will get it, and I will explain better. So please just follow me. So the first thing that I want to do is that we want to print out a message to our browser, just like other programming language too. So, and with this time around, we are using a function called document function. This is it. Document dot write. And inside the function, this is where we can now pass our message. You know, the very sweet thing about this JavaScript is that you can also wrap HTML elements inside this particular statement that I want to print. But don't let me go to that place because I don't want it to look more complex, to you. And just like the rules, for many of us that have been familiar with this HTML, every string, or some of you that are coming that already have the knowledge of maybe one programming language or the other. So the rules is that you have to put anything that you want to print on the screen either in a single quote or double quote. Look at what I want to do. Now, I want to print you are welcome to the BST. Simple. So now, mind you, in CSS, every statement is being terminated by semicolon. And in fact, the rules still stand as JavaScript is concerned. As JavaScript is concerned, every statement ends with semicolon. You can see I put the semicolon there. And as you can see now, so the next thing we're going to do is that we just need to save our file. Now, for some of you that you are saving for the very first time, so you can press Ctrl S or come to this file if you are using Sublime Text like like mine that I'm doing, or if you are using any other, any other text editor. So just go to the file, just as if you want to save a file. Then when you are saving, please, because it's inside HTML, please make sure that you add the extension .html to your file. Now, if we are writing an external JavaScript, that is pure JavaScript, we are not putting it inside HTML tag. When you are saving it, you have to save it with .jls. Let me show you the example of an external JavaScript that was written here before I switch back to this statement to print it out. Now, there is one I've prepared here. You can see this is an external JavaScript. You can see here. So, and if you look at the extension over here, you can see that it was extended with .js. So that is exactly what I mean. So if you are writing it, with just externally, if you are writing it externally, so you have to make sure that you had .js. But since we are starting with wrapping it inside HTML and writing it within the body of our elements, so you have to extend that document with .html. So now we are now ready to go. So I'm going to share my screen with you by the time I run this code on my browser. So navigate to your browser and open it with your browser. Please, you have to be patient with me. You have to be patient so I can open it, with my browser. You have to be patient. Okay. Have to be patient. Patient. Okay. So I'm trying to open. So I'm trying to open my own browser over here. So when I run the code, I will definitely share with you. When I run the code, I will share with you. So please, I think the screen is still on, so you can start writing your own as I'm preparing to share screen. So you can start writing. No, I think they're sharing something. Okay. So okay, now I have my own message printed here now. You are welcome to DBST. Let me share with you so that you can see. Please, if you are done with this code, just say yes. Just say yes. If you are done with the code, you are done with writing of the code, you can just text message. I think you can just pass a message. All right, now, so I want to share the result, the outcome of our document.write. Are you getting me now? So our document.write statement, that is the statement that we are printing. So I want to share the outcome of this code on my own. So let me reshare. Okay. So I believe you can now see my screen. The result I got. Yes, this is my. You can now.
All right. We are sorry for that distraction in network. Okay. Mr. Adekule is back. Please, you can share your screen and proceed, sir.
Thanks. So please just be patient. Let me share the result of the code. Right. Okay. So this is the code. This is the code. So you can see it very well. So please, you can retype at least for in the next 1 minute. I think it should have been done. This very simple. Then this is the result. Then this is the result of the code here. So this is the result of the code. Wow, can you see that? You are welcome to DBST. So, I know that you have a little joy seeing your first code working perfectly. So let's go back and give it a unique, formula, or let's press forward even to analyze a little bit of how this code works and what it actually does. So now you can see once again that the script started with the JavaScript rather that we wrap inside our HTML element started with this script tag, and you can see the script tag is closed. Then you can see our statement. Very simple. So you can see the statement document inside document.write function, and you can see how we pass our statement in a string format. You are welcome to DBST. So this is the first statement you are writing in HTML. Now you can also have multiple lines of code. If I want to write another line, I can say document dot write I am a developer at DBST. Then I save again. Please, I want you to watch this. I save again and return back to my browser. Refresh. Now, if I share my screen, the result of what I got here, I want to take note of something. Now, you can see the results of what I got. Now, we have a little bit problem here. I think this should be what you are seeing also on your screen, on your browser too. And the problem we are having here is that we are expecting the second statement to start on the second line. But in JavaScript, there is a way, we put this in new line. The first thing we can do is that we can wrap each of the statements inside a paragraph tag. The secondly, we can write, or simply means print, a break tag. I know many of us, we are familiar with BR tag in HTML. So we can document write a tag, which is the BR tag, to put a space between the two. But let's go over by using paragraph inside that of our code. I'm switching back over to my code editor. Now, this is my code editor. So what we want to do now is that we want them to be on the separate line. On a separate line. So firstly, let's add a paragraph tag. And a paragraph tag. I believe all of you know what it means by a paragraph tag. Paragraph tag. You can see how I'm doing it. Paragraph tag. Paragraph tag. You can see. I think you can see that. So you can save. And if you refresh your browser again, you should have them on different line now. So I believe you cannot have them on different paragraph now. Excuse me. Please let me share the screen with you so that you can see. Let me share my browser with you. You can see my new results that I got. Wow. You cannot see it clear and better now. So because of our time, we are going to speed over to the other little things that we need to do today also. Now this is how we can print the statement to our browser. Now what if we want to pass an alert message? For example, let's say before you can proceed to a particular stage of a page, you have to accept that you are progressing or you are moving from that page to another page by using what we call alert function. So you can open a new tab like I want to do now. Then you can name it and save it as alert. Oh, come on, sorry. So save it as alert dot HTML. Please, I just put alert. So mind that. So now I can quickly do my HTML stuff. Oh, sorry, this file is not properly saved. So please let me rename it. It's HTML, not HTML. I think we now have the proper syntax now. So let me quickly H. All right, let me get this here because of our time, and let me paste this here. Now you can see. So by the time you save, Excuse me. So now what we want to do now is that still with the format of our JavaScript. So let me off this one that we wrote the other time. Then
we can't see the backend
I can
though.
show
We are
you.
only seeing browser string.
Oh, sorry. Let me switch over. Please, sorry. I think you can see this now.
Perfect, sir.
Okay. Please. What I did here was that I've already have the structure here. So what I just do is open it. Then please make sure your HTML is intact. Then the tag is intact also. So let's now see how we can use alert. Right? Alert. Welcome. Then so that is it. Just put it also in your text editor. And let's see how it looks like. And we can now see the difference between the function and the. Please, are you with me, please? Yes. So now,
We are with
okay, so let me go over and let's see this in our browser. So let me first of all, good. You can see what it says. So let me share what my browser is saying when I print the alert message. Now, you can see it perfectly now that. So by clicking on OK, so it means that you accept to proceed with every necessary condition to move to the next page. So by clicking on OK, you see that you will land on the alert.html page properly. So you can now see the difference between alert and document.write function. So now let's further a little bit before we round up for today, and before we can see exactly how we can still continue, on our own, with this course. Now, one thing I want us to note is that JavaScript is a programming language also. It has its variables, it has syntax, you can combine the combinations of variables and, some other things like that. in JavaScript. So the first thing I want us to check is the operators in JavaScript. The operator in JavaScript. And as we are discussing the operator alongside, we'll be talking about the variable too in JavaScript. Now, looking at my screen, please, if you are with me, I believe all of you are with me. So let me just share my screen back and see. Now, we want to talk about, just as I said, we want to talk about operator in JavaScript, and we also want to talk about the variables in JavaScript. Like every other programming language, JavaScript also has variable, operators, conditions, down to objects, and down to other functions of JavaScript. And one thing you must note is that JavaScript change the content of an HTML, though it's outside the scope of this class. Now, but what we just want to quickly display to us is variables. Now, you can see here with JavaScript that we have a variable A. You can do it in two ways. JavaScript variable can be prefixed with the keyword var. You can see that with the keyword var. And it can also work without the keyword var. But it's going to be helpful and it's going to be a very good practice by preceding your variable with var, because that one is going to be helpful a lot. So we can see we have a variable, and for many of you that doesn't know what variable is all about, variable is a memory location whereby we place a particular content for a particular period of time, and later we can refer to that particular content through the variable name. Now look at it. A variable name can be a single letter. It can be the combination like it can be first number. Are you getting me now? And it can also be first and so forth like that. And we assign a value of 10 to it. This equal sign you are seeing, we call it assignment operator. So it is not equal to in JavaScript, as you can see. So we use it to assign a value. Then after assigning the value, you can see, let me remove this. Let me remove this so that you will not be carried away. So, and let me just add another variable again. Call it var b, going to be, then let's call it 20. Then what we want to do is that we want to print the additions of variable a and b on our screen. So we can therefore do this and say document.write variable a var a plus operator, sorry, plus var, or you can just, since you've already declared it, so this, there's no need of preceding it again, so just type it plainly, var a plus b. So we are going to get the addition, so which means the additions of a and b, that is a plus b plus b, as you are seeing on the screen. So which is the addition of a plus b. So if we save this file, and I switch back to my browser, so my browser here, I switch back to my browser. I'm going to be sharing my result very soon. So I switch back to my browser and the file is assigned to operator.html. So let me see that. Oh, your file couldn't be accessed, no? I didn't get the location very well. Please let me still share more. Okay. All right. So we're seeing it very soon now. So we are seeing it very soon. Okay. So I have it. So let me share with you now the result of this you are seeing here. Now, great. You can now see that we have the result of 30, meaning that A is a location that stores 10 and B is a location that stores 20. So when we now print it out using our document.write function to print 30 on our screen. So now this is a little bit add a new joy to your joy. You can see our variables and you can see how we assign their value and how we use them in our code. So one more thing before we close today is we're going to talk about how we can assign a string value to a variable. Now listen, you know that this time around, if you discover that when we are assigning a value to our when we are assigning a value, to A, you can see that it is numbers. So what if we want to assign, we want to store, for example, we want to store your name inside this particular A. So how do we do that? So very simple. This is what we're going to do. Now, when you are declaring or when you are storing a data that is of string, string means combinations of letters. Are you with me now? And even numbers also can be string because you can also wrap the numbers inside the string too. So for this time around, see what we're going to do. So let's say in hey, I want to store my name. So my name is David. Then inside B, I want to store B, my surname. Then I can say the surname. Sorry, I can say the surname is um Adekunle. Now, I want to print these two strings together. Now, what this is going to be different from what we have done earlier. Why we want to print our string value, or when we want to when we want to print something on the screen using document.write. But this is going to be different this time around. So imagine I'm having A plus B. Okay, let's even check what this is going to give us first. Now, the same is going to give us. I return back to my browser, then I refresh. So let me share the screen and look at the results. So let me share the screen and see the results. Now, you can see the results. And the result is simply David Adekunle. That is, I had the two numbers together. So you can now see that it's now printed out my name correctly on the screen. But there is a problem. The problem is there is no space between David and Adekunle. So which two of them, they are different string entirely. So let's return back and add a little bit things to it so that we can see how space will be added. So, okay, let me share the screen back to my code editor. And right. So now, there's what we call string concatenation. But we will not go there, but just see what I want to do now. And so now there is now space between David and Adekunle. Please, I want you to watch very well. I want you to look at it very, very well. I want you to see it very, very well. So I want you to see it clearly. Clearly. Oh, good. That's nice. So now, let's now return back. So please make sure you save this. Make sure you save every time there is changes. Make sure that you save. And please, make sure that you end your code with semicolon. That one is very, very important. Very, very important. So now, let me go back and refresh the browser. Oh, seems there's a little bit error here. Okay. Seems there's a little bit error. So let me resave and see what actually is going on. Undefined. Okay. So undefined. So I think there's a little bit challenge from here. So undefined. Please wait a moment and let me check out the problem. A plus. Oh, okay, all right. So let's just do it this way. A B plus concatenation plus. So still not still on it. Okay. All right. Now we can now see that we have adequately on our screen. So our time has gone, and this is where we're going to end today's class. This is just the introduction and basic. So, and this is the introduction and the basic of this JavaScript. Please, if you have a question, before we end this meeting, you can quickly ask before we close down in a few minutes, at least 1 minute. So you can ask the question, and if there is no question, so we are going to end it here today. So if you want to proceed and you want to learn more, you can quickly reach out to DBST, to continue the learning of JavaScript in proper. So this is just to give you the basic or the fundamental of JavaScript, of how it works and how you run the code. So, and we are very glad for the organizer of this program, which is the DPST. I think they are offline for now for one reason or the other. So, and you can always reach out to them, and for the um, further development and for you to move further in this JavaScript. There are lots that we have to learn and we have to know if we are to be a very good and professional web developer. So there are lots to learn, a lot in JavaScript. So, and you can follow them online, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. And you can also visit their website, which they are going to share very soon, shortly, to the group. And we have, I think the organizers, they have a perfect mode of learning, both online and offline. So you can learn from anywhere you are, and it will be perfect. Please, if you are listening to us, you can rate this, and we can just listen to you in a few minutes if there is any question, please. So we only have 2 minutes. So, all right. in the absence of no question, so we are calling it a day. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for being part of this brief lecture tutorial on JavaScript. See you more and more again next time. Bye.